Welcome to my books and storytime by mybookssummary.com. Hope for Cynics by Jamil Zaki, a detailed, engaging, and humanized review. Introduction: The Age of Skepticism. We live in a time where cynicism is almost a default setting. From politics to social media, from personal relationships to workplace dynamics, skepticism has become our trusted armor. Better safe than sorry, we tell ourselves as we raise an eyebrow at acts of kindness, expecting hidden agendas. But is cynicism truly serving us? Or is it an invisible weight dragging us down, keeping us from experiencing trust, joy, and meaningful human connection? This is where Jamil Zaki's Hope for Cynics comes in like a warm cup of coffee on a cold morning. Zaki doesn't offer false optimism wrapped in pretty words. He doesn't ask us to throw caution to the wind and trust blindly. Instead, he presents a compelling case for something far more balanced: hopeful skepticism. If you've ever found yourself rolling your eyes at inspirational quotes or dismissing hopeful people as naive, this book is for you. And if you've felt that deep down, your own cynicism isn't making you happier but lonelier, then Hope for Cynics might just be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. The evolution of cynicism. How did we get here? There was a time when people were naturally more trusting. You could leave your doors unlocked, borrow sugar from a neighbor without suspicion, and believe that most people meant well. But over the years, something shifted. Society became more complex, and with that complexity came disillusionment. Why? For starters, the media plays a massive role. We are bombarded daily with stories of betrayal, corruption, scams, and disasters. Every time we turn on the news, it seems like the world is burning. Another fraud exposed, another scandal uncovered. This constant negativity rewires our brains to believe that trust is foolish and cynicism is wisdom. Then there's the personal factor. Many of us have been let down by friends, family, employers, or even strangers. Someone once promised us something and didn't follow through. Someone once smiled at us but had a knife behind their back. These experiences add up, making us hesitant to extend trust again. But here's where it gets interesting. Research shows that while the world has its share of problems, most people are not out to deceive us. The overwhelming majority of human interactions are neutral or positive. So why do we remember the bad ones so vividly? Because our brains are wired for survival. Thousands of years ago, being skeptical helped us avoid danger. If we assumed that the rustling in the bushes was a tiger rather than the wind, we had a better chance of staying alive. The problem is, in today's world, this survival mechanism works against us. Instead of protecting us, cynicism isolates us. Cynicism's hidden costs: the toll on mental and emotional health. We often think of cynicism as a badge of intelligence. I'm not gullible, we assure ourselves. I see things for what they really are. But Zaki argues that cynicism doesn't just affect our perspective, it actively harms our well-being. Studies have found that cynics are more likely to suffer from depression, anxiety, and even physical ailments like heart disease. Why? Because expecting the worst all the time keeps the brain in a constant state of stress. It's like living with an alarm system that never turns off. Think about the last time someone did something kind for you. Did you accept it at face value? Or did you wonder if they had an ulterior motive? If you chose the latter, you're not alone. But consider this. What if your suspicion was wrong? What if, by second-guessing their kindness, you robbed yourself of a genuine moment of human connection? This is the paradox of cynicism. While it claims to protect us from disappointment, it often prevents us from experiencing the very things that make life meaningful: trust, warmth, connection, and joy. The social consequences: how cynicism is eroding trust in society. Cynicism isn't just an individual problem. It's a societal one. When a culture becomes deeply cynical, trust erodes at every level. Think about workplaces. In an environment where everyone believes their colleagues are out for themselves, cooperation breaks down. People hoard information instead of sharing it. They focus on covering their own backs instead of working as a team. The result? Dysfunction, stress, and burnout. The same applies to communities. When neighbors no longer trust each other, they stop engaging. Social events become rarer. People hesitate to ask for help. the very fabric that holds a society together starts to fray. Even on a national level, cynicism is a powerful tool for those in power. When people stop believing in institutions, they become disengaged. They stop voting, stop protesting, stop holding leaders accountable. And in a world where misinformation spreads faster than truth, widespread cynicism can make it easy for bad actors to manipulate public opinion. This is not to say that trust should be given blindly. But Zaki's argument is that excessive cynicism is just as dangerous as excessive naivety. Hopeful skepticism, a new way forward. So if cynicism is so harmful, should we just force ourselves to be optimistic? Smile more? Ignore reality? Not at all. Zaki introduces the idea of hopeful skepticism, a mindset that acknowledges the world's problems but remains open to the possibility of goodness. Being a hopeful skeptic means questioning assumptions without automatically expecting the worst, recognizing that while some people betray trust, most do not, allowing yourself to experience kindness without overanalyzing it, choosing to engage in society rather than withdraw from it. This is not just a theoretical idea, it has real-world applications. People who practice hopeful skepticism tend to have better relationships, stronger mental health, and even greater professional success. When you approach the world with cautious optimism, you invite more opportunities for growth, collaboration, and connection. Practical steps to move from cynicism to hopeful skepticism. Zaki doesn't just present ideas. He offers actionable steps to help us shift our mindset. Focus on positive narratives. Make an effort to notice and remember acts of kindness. The world is not just filled with betrayal and deceit. It is also full of generosity and goodwill. Take small trust risks. Start with low-stakes trust experiments, like assuming a colleague has good intentions or accepting a compliment without suspicion. Reduce negative consumption. Constant exposure to negative news and social media can fuel cynicism. Curate what you consume and balance it with stories of hope and resilience. Engage with your community. Volunteering, joining groups, or simply talking to neighbors can rebuild trust and show you that people, more often than not, are decent. Challenge your own assumptions. When you find yourself assuming the worst, pause and ask, do I have real evidence for this belief? Often, you'll find that your fears are exaggerated. Final thoughts. Choosing a better lens. At its core, hope for cynics is about the power of perspective. The world will always contain both good and bad, but which one we focus on shapes our experience. Cynicism tells us we are protecting ourselves, but in reality, it builds walls that keep joy, connection, and meaning at bay. Hopeful skepticism, on the other hand, allows us to engage with the world in a way that is both smart and open-hearted. So the next time you feel yourself pulling back, assuming the worst, or rolling your eyes at something good, take a moment. What if, just for once, you let yourself believe in hope? It might just change everything. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.